Hello everybody and welcome to KonoSuba the movie Legend of Crimson anime movie review. It was in the cinemas. Was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. I went to see it. It was pretty good, even if the sound quality in the cinema was really bad. For some reason, it's really bad. It kind of took me out of it a little bit, but it was still good, you know, so whatever. But yeah, I'm not going to talk spoilers until the end. I'll stress this now. I have read the light novel beforehand, so I'll save all the comparison and everything till the end because I don't want to spoil things for people, I should say. But yeah, overall, let's start with the easy question: is it good or is it bad? It's good. It's KonoSuba. It's if you liked the series, you're gonna like the movie probably. It's more of the same in a good way. So yeah. It was kind of weird to watch in a cinema with people around. You know, KonoSuba is sort of one of those things that I think about. I'm like, yeah, I'd watch that by myself with no one around. But no, yeah, the people around. It was weird. Everyone probably had the same thoughts. So that was good. I enjoyed the movie. It chose some weird things to do, which I'll get to at the end. But overall, yes, it's good. I've made notes. Obviously, first of all, right, it's silly. You can't go in expecting a regular movie. You know what I mean? There's not gonna the problems are silly, the resolutions are silly, obviously the characters are silly because it's KonoSuba. But yeah, basically, if you go in with logic, no logic. Logic is bad, basically. It's what the movie's about. I guess I should have started with that. It's very unstructured, but whatever, you know. It's fine. It's just my thoughts basically on the movie. What the movie's about, they end up going to the Crimson Demon Village because they get a letter saying it's in trouble, and that's all I'm going to say about the plot in this early bit because I don't want to spoil it, you know. That's the overall thing. First thing I'll note. I did mention it. Yes, this does follow the light novel, sort of. So it is technically, think of it like season 3, part 1 is basically what this is. It's got a lot of weird jokes. Like Kazuma takes his shirt off a lot, or has his shirt taken off him a lot. You know, and I get that is the point of the movie. It's his popular phase after all. You'll be sick of hearing that phrase by the end of it. But yeah, it's just so it's a note, you know. Kazuma takes his shirt off a lot. Something. What about a few observations? JC Staff. We'll talk about them quickly because you know Studio Dean did the series. They switched to JC Staff for the movie. One of the few times I think that JC Staff will be considered an upgrade to another studio is over Studio Dean. Like Studio Dean, and is it harsh to say they're not a good studio? I don't think it's too harsh because I think it's reasonable thing to say. Like KonoSuba is probably one of the highest rated things they've made, and honestly, that's because in KonoSuba's case, I actually think that crappy animation can help it in a weird way. Like because it is so comedic and the weird faces, if the animation's a bit wonky, it sort of adds to it. You know what I mean? Maybe not crappy. Crappy was the wrong word, but if it's a little bit off, it could make it look funnier. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's the thing. But no, JC Staff took over for this. I was really worried that they would get the faces wrong. Like that was my biggest worry, was because JC Staff, I think when I think about them, I think of not super expressive faces. I just don't. I don't know what the word is, but no, it doesn't matter. The faces are great as always. It still felt like KonoSuba, and when you switch you switch a production, what's the word? An animation studio from one to another, looking like High School DxD and others. That was just the one that came to mind. One Punch Man, there we go. We'll throw a JC Staff one in there. You know, there's always the worry that it's going to look different, and if it looks different, it does sort of not mix in well. This still looked and felt like the series, so that's good. You know, animation wise, fine. You know, the explosion budget, it was there. Like it wasn't super impressive. It wasn't like proper god tier animation or nothing like that. but the explosions were pretty, and that's where I don't want to say that's where most of the budget went, but I think that is where most of the budget went. Also, don't think there was any pesky CG anywhere. I didn't notice any, that's for sure. So if there was, it wasn't that intrusive, and I don't think there was like any really. So good job, I guess. No CG is good. The movie, right? The movie is short. It's not a long movie. I think it was done in a little bit over an hour, less than an hour and a half if you take out the credits. So there is that to take into a consideration. I kind of do wish it was longer, especially because of some of the stuff they cut out from the light novel, which I'll talk about in the later part in case you don't want to hear about that. But yeah, they cut out some weird things. Did they just run out of time? And some of the stuff they cut out was sort of important. I'm not going to spoil, but it was important to some of the stuff that happens later in the light novels. So if they were going to make more, like more series or whatever, they would need that stuff to be there. So it's kind of weird and also there's just nice stuff, I mean, I'll get into it later, but yeah, obviously, I guess I'll give the not the verdict, but the most obvious statement. It was funny, God, KonoSuba being funny. It still felt like KonoSuba, which is sort of a weird thing to say because it's a movie, right? But I think that the KonoSuba, the little loading screen things, I actually sort of think they made it feel less movie-ish in a weird. It sounds like such a weird thing to say. There was no reason this needed to be a movie, I think is what I'm gonna say. Like the events of this could have just been, maybe even should have been, first half of a season 3, as opposed to a full-on movie. Because I mean, it seems like a weird thing to say because I really did enjoy it, but nothing really felt big enough to warrant a movie. And which I don't know if people agree with that. I don't think it should have been a movie personally. I think a series would have fit what happened better. But I'm not going to complain. It was still good. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say like, oh, it's terrible. It ruined it because it was a movie. No, not at all. I guess another good thing I'll state. Yunyun's screen time is good because she's the best. Like, speaking objectively, Yunyun's best girl. Speaking personally, Yunyun's also best girl. I'm sure I'm going to get into a flipping argument with someone saying that, but I'm not. I've made my bed now and I will lay in it. Yunyun is best girl. I'm not gonna. I could list them, but then I'm gonna offend someone. Yunyun's the best, then Megumin. I'm not gonna say any more than that because if I list who's worst, I'll get people after me, and I don't want no angry mobs after me about waifus. I guess we'll get into slightly spoilerish stuff now, right? Not. You know what? We'll do spoilers from here, okay? So if you don't want no spoilers, stop watching and all that. Bye. But from now we'll talk about things more openly about like events of the movie and stuff, right? So, okay, you gone? You're gone. Kazuma and Megumin, that's the ship. That is the ship from this movie. They do the whole thing. They're sleeping in the thing together. They're locked in the room. Kazuma's funny with his ice magic and all that. Good job. But you might be surprised to learn they cut out a lot of the Kazuma and Megumin stuff. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong on this, but it's been a while since I've read it. I almost swear Megumin tells Kazuma she loves him in this, like in what would have been here. I'm almost positive that happened. I'm damn positive that after the final battle she tells the others to back off her man regarding Kazuma. I'm positive that's a thing that happened. If I've made that up, I'm crazy, but I'm almost sure that was a thing that happened in the book. And it just feels like a weird thing to cut out, It just, like, why do it? I know it's KonoSuba. Kazuma also in this, he walks a thin line in this movie between complete scumbag, and oh, he's actually an alright guy. You know, which I think is that sums up Kazuma's character perfectly. Actually, he walks that line between scumbag and alright guy very, very tightly. And most of the time he hits it, but there were some times in this I was just thinking, Kazuma, you're the worst. Like you're just the worst. But most of the time he's alright. Another big change, a very big change, I would say probably the biggest change, is they essentially added a phase 2 to the final battle. So in the book there's only the first phase with the railgun and that, and then the second phase where you gone spoil the people, like I'm talking proper here, where the Sylvia fuses with the other two. That was added just for this, for the movie. I'm pretty sure Wiz and Vanir don't even get involved in the book. Maybe they do, but I don't think they do. So yeah, the fact that they've added a whole second part, that felt movie-ish, which maybe that was why they added it. Maybe they thought it's not big enough for a movie if we don't have this in here. So we'll put it in. It was fine, you know. I liked the way they defeated it. It was KonoSuba silly, wasn't it? It was just Kazuma's got an ingenious plan. Ingenious is a word that, you know, he's clever, but God, is he stupid. That's the best. That's a good way of summing up, actually. And yeah, I did like it despite the changes, but I came out of it not disappointed, but a bit like, did I misremember the book? You know, I was like, I'm sure this stuff like this happened, and then just didn't happen in the movie, which, you know, it was a bit not off. Like, okay, I'll save right here. If you haven't read the book, you'll be fine, you know. But it's just like knowing what could have been. I'm sort of a bit like, you know. But that's like me saying, that's me trying to be negative. I think overall I had a really good time watching it. You know, it was. Like I said, I wish it was longer, and I wish they hadn't cut out a few things. Like the stuff they cut out, I'm confused as to why they cut it out. Like I'd love to know the reason, especially because it is sort of important stuff, you know, like weird stuff to cut out. But overall, let's give a roundup here. It's funny. It actually continues the story, so you know that's good. There was no post-credit scene. That's not a roundup, but I thought I'd throw it in. And if there was, it's not my fault. I googled it beforehand, and Google told me there wasn't. So you lied to me, Google. But yeah, I had a good old time watching it, and that's all that matters really. At least for me, you know. I know I'm doing reviews, but I'm not a critic. You know, I'm pleased quite easily. I can see if I'm enjoying something, I like it. You know, even if something is not perfect, still good because I'm having a good time. I guess another slight complaint is, man, Aqua and Darkness didn't do very much in this movie, did they? They were there for the final battle, but God, yeah, Union got screen time, but also, like, Darkness just disappeared for half the time. There was still fun. There was still some funny bits though. Sylvia and her minions were funny. The orcs, the lady orcs, God, that was a bit. I was getting like Goblin Slayer flashbacks, and not in a good way. But yeah, I can't think of too much more to say. As I said, I enjoyed it. I think how it's going to work is if you liked KonoSuba, you're probably going to like this. If you didn't like KonoSuba, this probably isn't going to change your mind. But I liked it, you know. So thank you everybody for watching this review. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, consider subscribing and stuff for more reviews just like it. Check out weekly anime reviews. I do that, and there's some other movie reviews and series reviews too. On the main channel, there'll be stuff going up with ranking every series I watched this year soon. That's gonna be before the end of the year, and you know it's not long before that left, so soon. Thank you everybody for watching. As I said, I will see you in whatever you decide to watch next, and bye guys.